Hello and welcome to Supper Love Sunday. This is our third episode, and today we're celebrating
Mother's Day.
Me! So, of course, every Supper Love Sunday we try to have it around a holiday. So you guessed it, next month is going to be Father's Day. So stay tuned for more goodness to come. But today, the Healthful Dad, aka Dan Nece, and myself, Molly Nece, owner of the Molly Sunshine Group, where I coach, I speak, I help people take them from here to here. So where I help them live their dreams, and Dan keeps them healthy. So let's get started.
Absolutely.
So you prepped a meal. Everybody, of course, watched that, right? And that's always quite entertaining. And so do you want to kind of walk us through this?
We'll review what we have here. We had the coconut flour, apple pancakes. We're going to do breakfast for dinner tonight, something a little different. So we did the coconut flour, apple cinnamon pancakes, I'm sorry. And we did some good organic bacon. It's really good. And then just a couple apple slices on the side there. So we have that. And we made a nice smoothie, which in this is pineapple, banana, a little water, some green grapes, and kale. Yeah, I did some kale in that as well.
See, he was going to forget to put that one in.
Yes, that's why it's green. It should be St. Patty's Day. You fool all those people out drinking on St. Patty's Day with this. They'll think it's something, and then you give them something healthy. So
there you go. And I, of course, always love bringing in the Penswood Winery because not only are the owners great, they make great wine. And yesterday we were celebrating out there for Cinco de Mayo. They always have so many great events out there. And I said, and we asked them what would go great with this pancake. And they recommended the Chardonnay Reserve. So Penswood's, of course, is great, but you know, just see what's out there at your local state store to see what matches and what your tastes are like. So let's get started with Supper Love Sunday. This is the love portion of the show, and what that means really is Dan and I independently ask each other questions that have come from a book, and we don't know what questions they're going to be, and there are four main areas they cover. We have to find one that focuses on behaviors, one that focuses on love, one on values, and one on the past. Because we all know that what happens in the past can come into the future, but what's happening in the present, you know, it's making time for love and how we do choose to communicate with one another. So this is really important, that not only the things that you put in your body feels good, but really what you share as a couple and partner in life, this is what makes the love portion strong. So it's the inside out.
Absolutely.
So Dan, would you like to kick off, as you just go and take a bite, would you like to kick us off for the first question that you have for me? And we want you at home. This is what's great about it being virtual, is that you can, after Dan asks a question, you put it on pause and you ask one another, how would you answer that question? That's the fun part, because it's not just about us. What it is actually more about you and your relationship and where you're going together, stronger, not weaker. So, Dan.
I'm really enjoying these pancakes, and we also do have some high quality, just pure maple syrup. You don't want to put too much. There's a lot of sugar in that, but it's better than that the processed syrup that you would get in the store and little log cabin looking things. You know, that stuff is just pure high fructose corn syrup. You don't want that. You want the straight maple syrup right out of Vermont or Canada. It's fantastic. So.
Well, before you go there, though, I'm really surprised you put bacon on the menu. Because to me, I'm thinking that's not too healthy.
Well, you get something, it's not what you eat, some of the time. It's what you eat most of the time. It's 80-20 rule. 80-20 rule applies all across life, in sales, in work, in this and that, and in health. So if you're doing good 80% of the time, have something the other 20% of the time. In this case, it's bacon. It could be a small dish of nice fresh made ice cream, that kind of stuff. So you're always prepared. So if you're eating healthy most of the time, what's a little bacon here? And this is high quality bacon. This is organic bacon. Like I said in the prep video, the bacon who graced his life for us, or the pig. I'm sorry, the bacon like Homer Simpson. the pig that gave his life for us to have this bacon, he was eating high off the hog. Like I said, he was eating all this great organic food. He was living a healthy life, just up until that fateful moment. But up until that point, he was just eating really, really good food.
Got it. Sorry, I got you off track there. Go for it.
That's okay.
What's the first question?
I'm going to start with the past question, Molly.
Oh, right.
It's what childhood or high school dreams are you now glad never came true?
Interesting. I would actually say being a classroom teacher. My mother was a teacher, and I thought, oh, I'm going to become a teacher, and I actually went to college to become a classroom teacher. And I never would have, or never say never, but the chances of me doing all the things I'm doing with the Molly Sunshine Group, Dream Big School, Spoken Sunshine, all this stuff that really feeds the masses, more so than just feeding one class. I now actually work with teachers, and for them to be feeling solid in where they are, not necessarily in the delivery of the curriculum, but who they are as a person, where they are as a teacher, how they're working with their students, because all of that is interrelated. And so I'm actually being able to touch more people with the path in which I chose versus in high school becoming a classroom teacher.
Very good.
That would be mine. So I'm going to go into the behavior type of question.
Uh-oh.
Well, you gave me my past, and I always get a little nervous because I had a lot of good times. I have good times now too, but they're just a little bit different. So anyhow, behaviors. Do you think you have any habits or mannerisms that remind you of your mother and or father? There is a doozy.
I probably do. It's just trying to figure out which they are. It's definitely not my mom's cleaning abilities. That's not why we invite them up, but whenever she comes up, she cleans the house. It's amazing. I don't know how, it's spick and span. As soon as they leave, it's like everything just falls back into place. Being a little dusty in here and that from dog hair and dust bunnies, but it's definitely not cleaning. Wow. I'm going to have to guess, in regards to behavior, maybe my dad's tolerance. My dad's he was a school teacher for 35 years. So we'll give him a clap for being able to do that for 35 years. I coach Little U soccer, and that hour on Tuesday night and that hour on Sunday. That's plenty. But I do more than that. So with tolerance, I'm able to be in a situation that might not necessarily be the best of situations, and I can take a step back and think about it in a cool head rather than just go ah. I'm able to take a step back, review it, and then move forward. And I think my dad did that a lot when I was growing up, and it was my mom. She was the enforcer. So she'd be there with that little stick. I hated that stick, and she'd whack right across the bottom, go running upstairs crying, head in the pillow. But I would say my dad's tolerance.
I think that's interesting because I definitely see that at home, but sometimes at work it's different, and I'm very grateful for you having that tolerance at home, because although I don't get the stick out, my temper can be a little bit shorter, because if I ask Tyler to do something, 3 times, that's getting to my limit, that, I only need to ask once kind of thing. And you are able to kind of work through that a lot better. And that's what this is all about, talking about each other's strengths and weaknesses and where you can continue to build, because you can be married to someone, but once you start having children, it does get a little bit more complicated. And if you are watching this, you all can probably agree with that. So I appreciate that for sure. So you think your father, you just have...
I'm sure there's other stuff.
Yeah. No, but that's good.
Some of the behaviors just come from being grown up in Jersey, like licking my fingers and stuff like that, but...
Yes.
That
is a behavior.
Oh,
and we wonder where Tyler gets those behaviors. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? But this is a perfect opportunity that if you want to expand upon this question, have have your other partner talk about that. Because how I might see him and where he sees himself might be two totally different ways. So it's important. Whenever you have more than one perspective, you always get another kind of awareness through that. But for the time's sake, you know, we know time is very important. So thank you for answering the question on behavior.
You're welcome. I'm really enjoying this breakfast for dinner. I'm almost done. This is fantastic.
I'm not.
Now we did past, correct? So now we are into values.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
And values question for you is, what is outlawed that you wish was not?
Like in the world?
And why?
In the world, in our house, in the school system?
I would say in our country, what is outlawed that you wish was not?
That was outlawed. I know what I want to be outlawed. GMOs.
There you go.
You know, I mean, I think rules serve a purpose. You know, it helps guides principles and how, you know, our forefathers thought that it should be run. But outlawed.
Yeah, think about like, the shootout at noon, you know, to settle something, you know, the duel, that kind of stuff.
Well, I don't think that's
No,
legal.
I agree. No, it's outlawed, but I'm giving you an example of something that would be
Well,
outlawed.
yes, that is definitely not along the Molly Sunshine. I'm not going to say let's have shootouts. But, you know, I have one.
Okay.
I don't think the drinking age should be 21.
Okay.
Because when I was in high school and also in college, I was in Mexico. I took a couple months in Mexico over the summer in high school, and then I took a semester to Spain in college. And they really, the children, the kids there really are very responsible in regards to drinking. And there's been many studies that show that it's because of that drinking age. It's not like the forbidden fruit.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say lower the drinking age, and truly, what they also have, the point alcohol level that it is now, it is like you can have one drink, you know. And I understand, you know what, more people are dying from texting in a car than actually drunk driving. So I often think that if we kind of lower that drinking age, and also parents modeling the way as well, we can see that, okay, having that one thing, it's responsible. Yeah. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, you can go to look in Italy and you look at families and family dinners, and 13-year-olds are sitting there with a half a glass of wine or 2/3 glass of wine with their dinner, and they learn about it at such an early age that it's never a big deal. They learn how to use it responsibly, and versus the whole binge thing that goes on. That creates a lot of the problems.
Yeah. I'd say also all the crazy taxation on cigarettes and things like that. Tyler brought this one up. It's like, why is the government taxing alcohol and cigarettes through the roof and da 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 da? So it is increasing it. I'm like, why don't they ban cigarettes? Because we want unhealthy people, right? Keep the health care going on. But this is a whole nother section.
Yeah, that too, and our politicians, they want to have, they need to get their posters made, and they need to get their TV commercials when they want to get reelected. So they need to keep on these, they need to keep some of these people in their pockets. They get the money.
Yeah, but anyhow, so.
This isn't political based, so let's keep moving.
But these kind of things, this banter between two people, this is where you can kind of grow together. Because look, I'm like, I connected with you on your words and your story. It's not, okay, who's going to get the kids? Who's going to do this around the house? Who's going to mow the lawn? When are we going to do that? You're stimulating yourself on a more intellectual level, not just working off your to-do list. So, love is the next.
Huh.
So, what did you do to make your parents proudest of you, besides marrying me?
What did I do to make my parents proudest of me? I'm going to be able to say, I'm going to say you know, that Saturday in May when I walked up, you know, in front of everybody, all the other, you know, graduating students in college and everybody's parents and family members, and accepted that diploma, you know, and walked down. I mean, it was a gorgeous day, and you know, I'd say getting my diploma from college, you know, and starting my portion of life, you know, my next portion of life, and you know, moving forward in that. You know, you know, I have to say, I did struggle in college, and it wasn't because you know, I wasn't trying. So, you know, I was a different type of learner. You know, I'd do book tests in biology, and I wouldn't do very well. But then you throw the practical, which is the hands-on stuff. You're identifying things. You're looking at things. You know, and I would get 100s on them. You know, and it all balanced out, and you know, luckily I was, you know, I received grades that allowed me to graduate, and you know, struggling through the book test, but having fun with that practical stuff. You know, it got done, and you know, I got that diploma, and you know, everybody was happy, and you know, I think that was the proud moment.
Yeah. And Dan, he graduated from Lycoming College, and I graduated from Gettysburg College, and we both are very proud of our alma maters. And you're right, those are very critical years and awareness years, because especially as you have children, and you just shared that with me, I'm like, well, Ty-C is having some of those challenges at times too, and you're like, okay, let's look for opportunities of forgiveness and say, okay, how can we support, not criticize? And that's always something to keep front of mind. So that's what I have for love, and we covered all these topics, and I have to tell you, Dan, I've been sipping on this green smoothie. I've had a bazillion green smoothies of Dan's, and let me just tell you, they all haven't been delightful.
Oh, says her.
Yeah, he loves them. But this one truly is. It's you don't even taste the kale. So I encourage you, if you're thinking, look at the green gunk, it really isn't. You know, and you notice, I love my wine. I haven't even sipped the wine. Sorry, Penswoods, but it is. It's really good. So I hope you really took a lot away from Supper Love Sunday. And as we continue to look for ways to really invest in one another, and I'm going to ask Tyler to come back on over too, because he's been our camera guy, so he's going to actually be turning off the camera in just a few seconds. But what I want you to do is really work with those partners. And Dan, you know, if you're struggling trying to keep it all together, you know, if we resonate with you, reach out to us. The Healthful Dad, Molly Sunshine Group. You are not alone in this. Who you surround yourself with is very important. We're here to help. And here's to more Supper Love Sundays together.
Happy Mother's Day.